So when writing a song there aren't many rules, or any rules, but there are things that occur so often that it sort of establishes itself as a rule. And of course rules are made to be broken, and that's exactly what's happening in so many Coldplay songs.
Bones sinking like stones, all that we just like this. Carving your name with my pocket knife.
So I'm sure you've heard about it. The key a song is written in, like nothing else matters. It's in the key of E minor, because right from the get-go we hear that lovely E minor pattern that everyone knows and everyone loves, right? Blackbird, that's clearly in the key of G major. It starts on a G. It lingers on that G for forever. So it is very obvious G major. So you wouldn't be surprised that we hear the rule that says you have to look at the first chord and on some rare occasions the last chord to find out the key a piece is written in. But it isn't that easy. And when I listened to Coldplay, I found that again and again they broke that very rule. And interestingly, all the times they did it, it happened in exactly the same way. So I'm sure we all heard Coldplay's Magic, right? So the piece starts at D major, briefly drops to A major, goes back to E major, and finally there's C sharp minor. And it does so indefinitely. And according to the internet, the key is A, but it starts on D. That is strange. Wait, here's another one. So the song Viva la Vida with the lazy capo version is in the key of G major. It says so on the internet, but it starts on C major? Wait a second, please help me. Okay, so when looking at both of these Coldplay songs, and believe me, many, many more, as we'll find out, the chord Coldplay chooses to start on isn't the 1 chord, but it is the 4 chord. So, wait a second, 1, 4, we're doing music, right? Not math. What on earth are you talking about? Okay, so a great way to look at chords and the relationship between those chords is to use the Roman numeral system. Some call it the Nashville number system. Anyway, for me it's the best way to look at chord structure and how they all relate to each other. It's pretty easy, you just lay down the major scale and build a chord on each of the scale degrees, as we call it. So for G major that gives us the following chords: G, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, there's G again. But of course we do not have to stick to these chords, but bear with me for just 1 second. These are the diatonic chords, chords made from just the notes within the scale. And they just sound very pleasant to our spoiled Western ears. That's all. So now looking at Viva la Vida, we see that we start on the 4 chord. Then we go up to the 5 chord, which resolves to the 1, the tonic, and then to the 6th chord, the E minor chord. So it's clearly all perfectly in that G major framework, since all the chords follow that diatonic chord pattern in the key of G. So now to the song Magic. We saw it's in the key of A major, so that gives us the following chords: A, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, and A again. Okay, so in this piece, again, it starts on the 4 chord, on the D. Goes down to the 1, and up to the 5. To the minor 3, and 4 again. It never really resolves, since at the end there's a fade out. So we never really get that resolution we all the time wait for. And in the song Viva la Vida, there's a fade out too. So looking at the last chord doesn't work either. So these songs, they start on the 4 chord, and we call that the subdominant, and not on the tonic or the 1. And of course we see chord patterns that start on the 4 all the time, but usually it's happened like in a B segment or in the chorus of a song, and not that often in the actual beginning. And that subdominant, so the 4 chord, there is something special about it. So in traditional harmony, all the chords have a function, like the tonic, and let's just take C major for example. So the tonic, it functions as a home chord, the stable chord. Everything is chill, fine and resolved. The dominant chord, or the 5 chord, often played as 7th chord, makes us feel like we're going back home. It wants to go to a home. So there's a strong pull from that G to the C chord. That is mostly because of the leading tone, by the way. That is the B note in this case, and it goes back to that C major chord. But with that 4 chord, there is no such thing. It falls a bit in between. So often the F chord functions a little bit as a bridge between the stable tonic and the unstable dominant. But it doesn't have to be. It can go anywhere really. It's like a journey, like destination unknown. But it's nice, and we see the different implications very obviously in the song Magic. It goes to the 1, from the 4 to the 1 and to the 5. And in the song Viva la Vida it goes from the 4 to the 5, so to the dominant instead of to the 1. So the 4 can go anywhere. So one thing we can add to that 4 chord is the sharp 11. It's the thing Coldplay does all the time, and it works so well because in relation to the key, that sharp 11 is actually the leading tone. So that is the 7th note from the scale, from the key. And this sound tends to favor the resolution towards the tonic, so from the 4 chord back to the 1 chord. And we hear exactly that in the song. Every teardrop is a waterfall that of course starts on the 4, on the D, and we add that sharp 11. So now we're sure we can't stay here. No, we definitely need some resolution, and we do it back home to the tonic. So it sounds like this. Right? It sounds pretty cool, right? And then there's the song Ink, which it does the same thing. It starts on the 4 chord, the B major. So the B major is the 4 chord from F sharp. So the key is F sharp, but we start on, and then we go to F sharp with the major 3rd in the bass, which is a thing Coldplay often does. And then to the 5, C sharp major, and then to D sharp minor. Again, the same thing, and then F sharp, and then to the 5. So it sort of ends on the 5, and then you expect that resolution. But no, it never happens. We're never given that resolution, because after the 5, we go again. And that's it. So this makes sure we never really feel resolved. It's a song that never feels totally at rest, and there's always some pull going on, which gives us that driving force and the feeling that it doesn't get boring, even if it's the same chord progressions over and over. So in the song Don't Panic, we do sort of the same. This starts off playing 2 whole bars of a 4 chord, so really exaggerating that thing. F major. And again we add that sharp 4 to the chord. But now we don't go to the 1, the tonic, we go to a different kind of tonic, because we can also see the minor 6th chord as the tonic. The A minor in this case. That also feels very stable and resolved in a minor context basically. So from the F, the 4 chord, to the
sinking like stones, all that we fall for.
Then there's a song with the Chainsmokers, something just like this, and you guessed it, the same thing happens. Oh, wait a second, this is actually the song Hymn for the Weekend, but they transposed it a half step up and swapped out the Chainsmokers for Beyonce, but it also starts on the 4 chord. So do they purposely write music that starts on the 4 chord? Well, no, surely not. When Chris writes these songs, his ear favors these changes. He hears the chords spell out a certain path when you start writing, and I'm 100% sure he never thinks about it, it just happens. It provides a certain vibe or atmosphere when you start on that 4 chord, something Chris apparently is naturally drawn to. And when you play it often enough, or record songs often enough, you start to see a pattern. Apparently he's very fond of it. That optimistic, bright, connected nature of the music, especially the later work, it's something you can really see it shine through of their artwork, the clips. And of course it's not a coincidence that the brightest, most happy sounding scale out there, the scale we call Lydian, is built on the 4th scale degree. The 4th we've been talking about. So we start playing from the 4th note up in any major scale. Let's say we take C major. If we play from F up, we get F Lydian. And that's the brightest, the most happy sounding scale out there. And that rhymes perfectly with their video clips, their artwork, the entire image really. And it really ties perfectly into why all these songs tend to favor a fade out as well instead of the usual ending on the 1 chord. No, it just feels too final, too resolved. Anyway, if you enjoyed any of this, I would really appreciate it if you left a comment and a gentle and bright thumbs up beneath this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thank you for watching. And write some music starting on the 4 chord. Why not? There are no rules. Cheers guys.